Welcome back everyone to our gameplay series of Farming Simulator 19. And we packed a lot into our most recent video. So now it's time to sort of back up a little bit and take stock and do a little bit of a farm tour. Since we placed so many buildings, we added cows, we purchased some more land that's right over there. There was a lot going on and a lot has happened since then. So let's go ahead and start off with our farm tour in the cow area. You notice that not only do we have more cows now, but they are all the same type. And if I pull up the actual animal information, you see that right now we have 45 cows. A few of those, 2 or 3 of those are because of the actual reproduction rate. But I've increased the number of cows, but I also got rid of some of the cows. You might remember that we purchased a few of each different kind of cow, but then as the gameplay continued, I realized that the reproduction rate was based on the individual types of cows. So the black and white cows were reproducing based on just their numbers, not the total number of cows. So that got me worried that that was going to continue long term. So I decided, okay, let's just go down to one type of cow. So I went down to the one that I prefer the most and one I'm used to seeing quite a bit in the area where I live. So we have all black and white cows, and right now we have 45 of them. Also, if I come back into the animal information, you can see that we're doing quite well here. Cleanliness is an issue. I deal with it generally a few times a day just to keep it around 90 to 100%, somewhere in that range. And then water and straw, we're doing quite well. These guys are just not using all that much of it. And granted, we only have 45 of the maximum 200 that we can carry in this particular enclosure. But still, they're just not using it up very quickly. The hay and silage, that's another area that I wanted to talk about. You might remember that where we left off last time was, I purchased a baler and that would wrap our grass or our hay, either one, and turn it into silage. Well, that worked perfectly fine. In fact, you can see our forklift right over here, that I was able to make a lot of bales over here in field number 1 and then use the forklift to dump them over into the feeding trough. However, once I realized that that was really a lot of wasted time, simply because you can use hay or silage, and for us, loose hay is much easier to make than having to deal with those silage bales. So I've decided that going forward, there's really no reason for us, as far as productivity and efficiency of time usage, to mess with the silage, since it is worth exactly the same as the hay. And we are, if you look at the bottom, getting 75% effectiveness using either hay or silage. Now the grass is just in there because I had some extra grass left over after working with the silage bales. And I decided to cut some and actually put it in here just as a bit of a safety valve, if you will, because just in case something should happen and I forget to cut hay for a while and we end up running out, we'll at least have grass in there to keep them at 25%. But as of now, they're not eating any of this grass. They're only eating the hay and the silage that I've put in here up to this point. So I think that brings us up to date on where we are with the cows. So I plan on in the future just sticking with one type of cow instead of trying to spread that out. I'm not sure if that was intended, and who knows, I might have misunderstood something that was happening, but I decided not to take any chances. The next thing I did is I had to pick up a milk tank. With the cows, you get milk, but as opposed to the way it's worked in the last few games, the milk is no longer sold automatically for you. You have to load up the milk in some sort of a milk container and then take it off to be sold. So I decided, why not go big? And I purchased a 32,000 liter capacity tank as well as the tractor trailer rig to pull it with. So this is the area where you have to pick up the milk as well as the various feeding areas that we have, plus the manure and the slurry right over there. So there's a lot going on with the cows, but as always, it gave me an opportunity to pick up some new equipment and some nice equipment at that. So I'm very happy about doing that. All right, so now let's move around the farm a little bit. And I'm still holding on to this forklift because I really enjoyed working with the silage bales. And that's why I haven't gotten rid of the forklift just yet. I'm holding out hope that every once in a while I'll have to give in to my urge to make some more silage bales. So now let's take a look at our new buildings. I decided to put most of our equipment right over here. There's our water tank. The good news about that milk tank that we have, it can also hold water. So I'll probably be using it primarily to fill up the water troughs. But then I've got a lot of our hay and, in this case, our silage baler over here. So that is working out very nicely in this area. And then if we come over to the other one, I was a little worried that this was going to end up being too close to the horse enclosure to be useful because it wouldn't allow us a lot of room to back in. But it turned out it hasn't been that big of an issue because I've put some of the smaller implements over here, such as the fertilizer. And then on the other side over here, where we don't have so much of an issue, got a little bit more room, I have put our lime spreader as well as our weeder and our plow. So that has worked out perfectly fine there. Again, it's a little tight on space, but overall, I don't think it's that big a deal. All right, now we need to get busy harvesting some oats since it is time for that on the field. So we'll go ahead and get the AI started on that. And next we're going to move over to field number 1 where it's time to start cutting some grass. So what we'll do is we'll send this guy, the big Krone mower, over the grass to cut it. And then after he's done cutting the grass, then we'll run the tedder over that and so on to make our hay. The good news is we're really in good shape on hay. The last cutting I did of hay basically filled up or very close to filled up our hay loft over there. And now this brings me to something else I wanted to talk about. We've known that placing these buildings has caused some leveling issues, in particular around the cow shed. This is a pretty severe slope right here, and in particular around the corners where it gets really bad. Now the good news is we're going to be able to do something about that starting with, I believe, the very next patch. The developers are going to give us a tool to work with the landscaping, and hopefully we can smooth out some of these transitions and make them to where they're not quite as sharp as they are right now, because this is a little bit troublesome to be driving around the various implements. And in fact, I actually turned one of them over and had to work very hard to get it back on its feet because I did not want to have to reset it and then drive it back from the storefront. All right, let's actually hop in right quick. Let's hop into this particular tractor, and we need to hook up. We need to get our tipper because it won't be too much longer before we'll need to actually come in and empty out our harvester. All right, so I left this guy here at the silo. So let's actually back in and get this guy connected. Okay, and let's check in on our silo and see where we are. All right, if we scroll back over. All right, so we're at 58,000 liters. So that is a ton of oats for us as far as our horse operation goes. All right, this guy is cutting, I think it's nearly 10 meters wide every time he cuts. So he gets it done pretty quick. All right, now let's come back over to our milk storage, because one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is, so when I'm filling up the milk storage, you can see right now we have just under 6,500 liters that we could load up. So far, with our 42 to 43 or 44 cows, we've been getting about 3,300 liters of milk per day. So that equates, if we come back into take a look at our pricing, here is the milk icon, and you can see here that the best price by far is at the pork grain elevator, and it's just a little over 1,000, and this is per 1,000 liters. So essentially, $1,000 for every 1,000 liters means that if we're getting 3,300 liters of milk per day, that's about $3,300 or thereabouts. So we definitely want to increase this going forward. The other good thing is that as these cows continue to reproduce, then at some point, once we have all of the cows we really want in this enclosure, then we'll be able to sell off the extra cows that are born each day. Right now, we're well below any amount that would make us some serious money because we're not quite getting one cow born per day, and each cow sells for about $2,000. So we're not making any serious money there. But what we want to do today, in addition to continue working these fields, is I want to sell off our horses. Now, our horses are not fully trained. They're not at 100% value right now. In fact, if we take a look in here, you can see that we're about halfway through. We're at 54% on their fitness, and a little over $27,000 each is what we're going to get. But that's okay, because we're sort of running out of money. We're down to about $13,000, and we need an influx of cash to not only provide some spending capital, but there's a couple other things I want to do, and primarily I want to get some more cows in here. So I'm perfectly fine with selling off these guys before they are of full value. So let's go ahead and start that process, and I'm simply going to get rid of all of the cows that we have on the farm, starting over here, and then we'll go ahead and load up 2 of each to start out with, because we want to make sure we keep horses in here. All right, let's scroll to the bottom, make sure I'm getting actually 2 of each of these. Okay, I think that should be all we can fit in there. Okay, yes, capacity has been reached. Good. So you can see we're going to clear about $354,000 in this particular transaction. So that will certainly go a long way. So $443,000 from the sale of the animals, and of course we had to replenish our animals. So we decided to do that at the same time. Now let's come over to this enclosure, do the same thing. We're going to start off by selling all of these guys off, and then I'm simply going to pick up 1 of each of these, and we'll keep buying until we're sure that we have capacity reached. And sure enough, we're there. This time we're going to get $177,000 net from this. Excellent. So now that brings us up over $500,000. And now the first thing I want to do with this money, before I do anything else, is actually I need to come in under our finances tab, and we need to pay off this loan. We got still $170,000 left on it. I've paid off, in fact, that's what I've used a lot of the money for, and I want to pay this off. So let's go ahead and repay this. So that's going to take our money down some, but it will get rid of that debt. And that's what I want. So $374,000 remaining. And I'm hoping that with the additional cows we're about to purchase, that the money we make from the milk will more than take care of our daily income needs, as I plan on selling it every day or two. All right, oh, looks like it's about time to unload the grain. Let's see where this guy is. Oh, he is going the wrong direction for us. So we might be in for some crop destruction here. Okay, so no big deal there. I mean, that's not certainly not the end of the world. So let's come back over to our cow shed and take care of a little bit of business here. All right, let's open up our animal dialogue. And you can see there, we could sell any of these cows to get $2,000 each, but we don't really want to do that. We're going to stick with the black and white cows. And let's see how many we can get. So we'll start off here with about let's see, let's go up to 100,000. That'll give me, we don't want to get too close to 200 because we want to leave enough room in the paddock for new cows that are going to be born. So let's start off with just 100,000 spent. 8,000 feed takes us to a grand total of 108,000. So let's go ahead and press spacebar to confirm that. We still have 266,000 in the bank. Now if we come back into the animal dialogue, we now have 85 cows. Now it'll take it a few minutes here for the reproduction rate to update because we have essentially doubled the number of cows that we have. And in fact, let's go ahead and make this an even 100. Once again, black and white to keep them all the same. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there we go. That should be it as long as my math and counting in my head is doing good. If not, we'll have about 100 instead of exactly 100. So again, a small fee, but certainly nothing I'm going to worry about. It saves me a lot of time to do it this way. So now let's go back to our enclosure. And sure enough, what did I do? I clicked it a couple of too many times. So we have 102 cows. We'll let the reproduction rate catch up a little bit, but we need to get busy putting some more water, straw, and it looks like, let's see, they've actually used a little grass there. I didn't think they were going to do that since it actually says that you should provide the most effective food type, which would normally be the mixed ration, but we're not going to go that route. We're going to stick with the hay and silage. So, okay, no big deal there. That certainly isn't going to hurt anything. Let's go ahead and hop in right here. No cleaning that really needs to be done. I see one small area of silage, but that's certainly not a huge deal. Not enough to cause any concern right now. So let's actually head over to our hayloft. And this is another area I really want to do some leveling in once we get that new tool available in game. Okay, let's start filling. Actually, we need straw and hay. I'm going to go ahead and get hay first. You can see we were nearly full here. 250,000 liter capacity. We're at 225. So let's go ahead and load up on the hay. And we'll take a load or two of hay over here and get these guys started just to make sure we have plenty in there for them. All right, let's see. We need to go around the corner. And you can see I've been running through this area quite a bit doing the cleaning. Okay, let's dump the hay out. And you can see we're already back to full. All right, so it did not give us, actually I think that's going to be an issue with the timing. I don't think it's actually showing, the game hasn't updated to the fact that we purchased a whole bunch of cows right there. So we better than doubled our number of cows up to the nice round number of 102. So we're going to have to give that a second to update before we can get that taken care of. But now, before I forget, we need to take care of our Oats Harvest. And fortunately, he had just enough room left in the tank to get pointed around in the right direction for us so that we don't have to worry about any crop destruction. That was a good bit of nice fortune for us, because I certainly didn't think far enough ahead to prepare for this. All right, so we'll get this guy unloaded and he'll be back up and running. We'll have to unload him one more time, I believe, before the final time when he's finished. So for the most part, he can work unattended, which is perfect for us because we got a lot of things that we need to do. We'll also check in on our Krone mower over there. He should be, if not done, he should be very close. All right, there we go. 8,600 liters of oats. That is an absolute ton. At this point, since I've decided I'm not really trying to sell all these oats, I'm not really going that route for right now, since I'm just saving them to use for our animals. I only have to really work this field, field number 3 over there, about once every 4 or 5 days, maybe not even really that much, but I usually work it about that often, just for the fun of it. And now you can see we've got plenty of grass that has now been cut. So we'll bring this guy back over. He got his work done very quickly. And now from this angle, you can get a really good view at just how steep that incline is, particularly on the corners where it gets really bad. So again, we're going to try to level this out somewhat. All right, let's bring this guy back over here. And there we go. So another part of the update that's coming, I believe, is going to allow us to put down different types of ground. Meaning we could put down some pavement, concrete, dirt, make some paths through here. So I'm thinking about putting maybe a concrete slab in this area to park some of our bigger machines on. So that'll be very nice once we're able to do that. Let's pull up our animals. And nope, it's still not showing that difference. All right, so we'll actually go in and we're going to use our milk tank right now. Since we haven't filled up on any milk just yet, let's head over to the water tank and let's put some more water in. Very useful having this guy on hand for water, because his capacity is quite a bit larger than our normal water tank. All right, so we're ready to start filling. Let's see how much we're going to need. All right, so 24,000 here is, wow, that's maybe a third at the most. Okay, so we can fill this thing up and be perfectly fine. Let's see how our horses are doing. Looks like, oh yeah, we got plenty of water there. What about in our other paddock? Yeah, we're still good on the horses, so no problem there. And still waiting on that hay to reset. At least it should, because it was full before, but now we've purchased all these additional cows. It certainly should not be full with 10 days worth at this point. All right, I thought we were about to get run over there with our combine, but thankfully that didn't happen. All right, so this guy is filling up very slowly. Let's actually move the time forward a little bit. Let's we might as well just go up to 120, and let's move it forward just a few minutes, not a whole lot. I want to move it forward to, let's say, about 8 o'clock, somewhere thereabouts, and that should give everything plenty of time to reset if it's going to reset. So let's go back to real time, and while I'm in here, I'm trying to get myself in the habit of making multiple save games. Okay, so this guy's still filling. Let's now go back over to here, and, well, it's still showing maximum silage slash hay in there, which is odd, because that should not be. Unless I am losing my mind, which is entirely possible. But the reproduction rate has adjusted, so we're now down to just under 15 hours. So that is going to be very nice, and you can see about 8 hours and 45 minutes until we get our next new cow that's being born. So my long-term plan is to probably keep 150, 170 cows or so in that area. We still got some more money left, so I plan on buying some more cows before it's all said and done here. All right, so this guy is almost done. We're up to 26,500 liters. Let's check on while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so we're about halfway full here, so not too bad. We'll hop back over, and just in time to be finished filling up on our water. 32,000 liters takes a long time to fill up. So we'll go ahead and head back over to the cow enclosure, and this is where it gets a little bit tight with all of these terrain transitions, because now we're going to have to go, let's see, we should be okay because we're not going to have to go over those transitions. So yeah, we'll be okay. Then we'll have to cut it hard right to stay away from that area in front of us. All right, so we'll let that guy take care of everything. This is, I still have got to figure that out. Unless I have forgotten about something, then that should not have continued to be full. But for right now, nothing we can do about that. So I'm going to come back over and go ahead and dump this out because I need to pick up straw. And I need this loading wagon for that straw. So we'll go ahead and get this done, and then we'll deal with our combine, and hopefully we get lucky again where our combine will stop in an area where we won't have to do any crop destruction. All right, there we go. Let's start filling, and this time we need to get straw, and we'll get a full load of straw because if I'm not mistaken, not only are we low on straw for the cows, but I believe we're getting low for the horses as well. Okay, yeah, they're at a half or less, so we'll go ahead and fill those up as well. All right, there we go. We'll dump the straw out here, and that should go a long way toward filling that up. It won't fill it up, but it'll give us several more days worth for sure. All right, there we go. And you can see that puts us up very close to half, and that is good enough for right now. I'll fill those up and top them off a little bit later on. All right, now we need to fill up the horse paddocks with some straw. All right, oops, I'm in the wrong area. We don't have any to dump out. We need to pick up. It'd be nice if I'd pay attention every once in a while. There we go. Now we're on the right side. And once again, we need some straw. Still 136,000 minus what we're going to get here. We're still going to have a ton of straw left, so we still don't need any new straw for a while. All right, there we go. Now we'll head over and let's see, where was the straw? I think it's right here on the corner. Been a little while since I had to put straw into these areas. There we go. Now we'll let that use as much as it can. There we go. Now it's full. We'll head over to the other horse paddock and do the same thing. And so there's a little slope there in the terrain, but see, that's not all that bad. That's certainly something I can live with. But some of these other areas I really want to work on and make them a lot smoother in the transitions. All right, there we go. Now we're full on straw in the horse paddocks, and we'll dump the rest of this over in with the cows while we've got it. There we go. All right, let's see how we're doing. Oh, he's almost done. Good news is he's headed the right direction. And hopefully he will stop right there while he's still going this direction, or at least give us a chance to catch up to him before he gets turned around. All right. There you go. Stop, stop, stop. Yes. All right, he's going to stop while we get him unloaded. All right, so once again, we've gotten quite a bit accomplished in today's video, but I do want to take one more trip over to purchase some more cows. I mean, we got $220,000. We've got no debt, and I really want to purchase some more cows. Now, I'm going to give up on trying to count them while I am actually purchasing them. I'm just going to start purchasing them, and then we'll just go with it. All right, there we go. So plenty of more oats. And then I might just leave that field as is for a little while, since I won't need oats for quite a while. But again, long term, we got plenty of oats if I decide to work this field on a regular basis that we could sell off. And we could certainly supplement our income in that way. All right, let's see what else needs to get done. Our water, oh, did it seriously do that? Yep, it stopped. It stopped unloading whenever I hopped out. So, oh well. I was afraid that might happen, but we've had some good fortune with the AI continuing to do some of these things, or the game continuing to do some of these things, even though we don't always stick around until it's done. But in this case, apparently with water, I'm going to have to. So now we have emptied out the water. Let's see what that does for our water amount. And yeah, that's going to give us several days of water. We now have several days of straw as well. We are doing great on hay and pretty good on grass should we end up needing that. Again, I'm still not sure why they used some of the grass when they did, but that is certainly no big deal. That's what it's there for, just in case we need it. And apparently, we needed it. All right, so let's come back in and let's purchase some more cows. Again, we're going to stick with the black and white. And we are in no danger of filling up the paddock. Again, we don't want to fill up the maximum 200 because then we don't leave any room for new cows to be purchased. All right, so we got $4,000 in the fee right now. And we'll go ahead and go up to $75,000. Which with the fee added will take us to $81,000. Let's go ahead and confirm that. We come back in and that brings us up to 132. So I'll probably continue to increase that a little bit as we go along. But for right now, I just want to see how this continually affects the reproduction rate, and we'll take it from there. But for right now, things are looking very good on the farm. We should have a nice increase in the amount of milk that is produced, and when we come back next time, hopefully we will have a full load of milk that we need to take off to be sold. For now, that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as we will continue our gameplay series of Farming Simulator 19.